back. This is TurboCharge Your Business on the #1 global business talk and news network on the internet, IBGR, International Business Growth Radio. I'm Patty Lawrence. This is episode 28, What to Do with Your Budget. Be sure to go to our website at ibgr.network and download the show notes. So now that we have a budget, what do we do with it? How do we use it? What benefit can we have in our business now that we have spent a lot of time, invested a lot of time in building this budget? I say a lot of time. It's all relative. But again, it's a tool. So a tool is only as useful to your business as you use it. So you need to use it to get the benefit out of it. So how do we use it? The first way you use it is to measure. All right? Measure and manage. So because, you've heard the saying, what gets measured gets managed. And that's important for you as a business owner. You need to have somebody managing your financials. Maybe it's not just one person, maybe it's the entire leadership team. But what does that look like in your business? So it looks like a monthly report that comes out, that's furnished to you, that is benchmarked versus your budget. So your financial reports should always reference a benchmark of the budget because, of course, we talked about it. That's where you quantify your goals. That's where you pull in your strategic plan first year. You've taken your priorities and timed them out into the year on a monthly basis. You've quantified all of that, what spending is going out, what sales are coming in. What does that look like in your business? And then you come up with a monthly plan. And that monthly plan or budget can be used by your financial platform, your accounting platform, to run reports. So you'll run a report and it says, here's what we actually did during the month. Here's what we expected/budgeted to do for the month. And here are the variances. So again, what are the variances? Variances translate into potential action items. So those variances are indicators, right? They tell a story. What is the story that they're telling us? Are they telling us we're performing better than budget? Are they telling us that we're performing poorly to budget? Either way, we need to understand what that is telling us, because then we need to develop an action plan to manage against that, to manage the performance. So we either rinse and repeat, do more of the good stuff, or we need to take corrective action for the unfavorable stuff. That's a big part of those monthly reporting packages. So you can see trends. I don't discount trends at all. I think trending is, if you look at, your trailing 12 months or whatever those types of measures are, you want, and maybe versus last year, what do those look like? It's very important to understand how you're performing versus a historical period, or over the last 6 months, or over the last 12 months. Are we seeing trending that is on the upswing in a good way, right? Is it a positive trend or is it a negative trend? Either way, those come into the conversation as well. Okay, so when we talk about measuring and managing, it's not only against budget, but other benchmarks. Another thing that comes into play in terms of managing is as a part of the budget, using the budget on a monthly basis, is really reassessing and learning. And when I say reassessing, it's if things, I shouldn't say if, because things change over time and they aren't always in alignment with what we assumed in the budget. So we made a set of assumptions in the budget, and you should always write those down. You should document those because they're important. Because let's say 6 to 9 months into your budget, you may have forgotten what those what those assumptions are in your budget. And you're going to need to know what those are and remember what those are in order to make those um, uh, assessments against your budget. You're going to have to think to yourself, what did we assume and what is happening now? And then reassess against those assumptions and say, what did we learn during that period of time? What was the learning? Because that's going to go into your next budget cycle and impact your decision making and your set of assumptions in that planning horizon. And it's going to affect how you finish out the year, or maybe adjust, I don't say adjust a budget, but adjust in a forecast or a planning perspective. What do we need to do differently? How do we need to adjust or go forward? So if our sales are trailing off, we need to adjust our spending accordingly. So we don't want to keep spending at a rate that we assumed we were going to have increasing sales when sales are in fact decreasing. So that's just one example. One thing we can do with that budget is question expenses. So we have a set of assumptions, and when our actual expense spending comes in, we can start questioning things, right? Hey, I didn't know we were spending at that level. Hey, we need to go renegotiate, right? We need to take a different decision. Maybe we need to go look at a different vendor because our costs are up. Maybe a different supplier because they're not able to support us the way that we had hoped that they had or that they said they could. So we need to go back and question what our level of spending is for what we're actually receiving. Again, we talked about better and faster decision making being one of the benefits, right? Why do we actually do budgeting? Because we get better decisions, we get faster decisions because we know what we've put into the budget. So we can say, we assume this, and when we look at our reporting, it's falling short. So we need to make a decision, right? That was the measure and manage. That's part of the manage part, right? We're making better and faster decisions, or we have the ability to make better and faster decisions based on that data. Now, that is also predicated on your reporting being timely. So you can't wait to get your month-end reports to the end of the quarter because that's not helpful. Timely reporting is going to enable your leadership team to make timely decisions and make impactful decisions, because you can make a decision, but if it's 3 months later, it's not impactful because you're way past the ability to impact the business on a timely basis. So let's make sure we're getting our reporting in a timely fashion. And because of the data being timely, we can also respond to unexpected changes. So unexpected changes in the marketplace, unexpected changes in our selling cycle, unexpected changes in our labor force, our labor market. Whatever those are, we're able to read them, tap into them, understand them, and react and respond to them as well. I alluded to a little bit earlier is if we reassess and learn from this process, then we want to reflect that on a go forward basis. Say we're midway through our budgeting cycle, we're 6 months in, we need to make an update. So updates usually come in the form of a forecast. So maybe we see that our sales are taking off in a big way. That's good. And we want to make sure that we capture that and quantify it for the back half of the year. So what we would do is do an update on that, and maybe we also need more labor to support that. Maybe we need more people in our organization to support that. Whatever that is, we need to quantify that and then feed that back in through the process and make an updated forecast for the balance of the year. That way, we have measured it, we have managed it, we have assessed it, and we've learned from it, and we've reincorporated that data into a new plan that's called a forecast. And we're able to continue measuring for the balance of the year at an updated plan versus an updated plan. This week, our theme is accounting fundamentals, where we'll cover the chart of accounts, balance sheet, income statement, and cash flow statement. Be sure to check out my collection of free resources at turboexecs.com/turbocharge. And you can continue the conversation with me, Patty Lawrence, on LinkedIn. Thanks for tuning in to Turbocharge Your Business and What to Do with Your Budget on the IBGR Network. I'm Patty Lawrence. See you next time.
Você novas entrevistas a cada semana. Provavelmente você nunca ouviu falar ou leu a respeito em